Energy never flows from the outside to the inside of a person. It goes from the inside to the outside. It appears as if things in the world flow in through the senses toward the inner realms of the mind, but this is a false impression. The inner flows into the outer. Perception arises from that inflowing. It's from Swedenborg. I once asked a group of people to list the things, situations, and people that upset them. People wrote for about 10 minutes about all kinds of things. They paired off and shared some of their answers with the other person. And then we gathered them back together into a group. And I said to them, I do not want to know what is on your lists, because the fact is that things, situations, and people do not upset us. They may provide opportunities for us to get upset, but the cause of the upset is inside of us, not outside of us. Well, of course, we got into a long and serious discussion in which they gradually came to reflect on the possibility that what they thought was upsetting to them was not the real cause of their upset. It could be called a false cause. This point is important because our spiritual development depends on us taking responsibility for our reactions to things, people, and circumstances. The appearance that things outside us cause our reaction is very strong. It's almost impossible to believe that external things do not cause us to have our feelings. When we are upset, we need to look for something that's causing it in our environment, in the other person, that is the reason for our upset. This is not the real cause of our reaction, and so we call it false cause. Our states, our moods come from inside of us. If we are happy, it's because we chose to be happy. If we are upset, it's because we chose to be upset. Our mood is not the result of the situation, the people, or the things outside us. When people say, she will make some man very happy, they are not quite accurate. If he wants to be miserable, she cannot stop him. When you hear someone remark, that sales clerk made me so angry, again, they are speaking in the language of appearances, of delusion. Here's another example. Imagine this, and go along with me here. You're driving along in your car, and you stop at a red light. The world's good, you're feeling fine. But then you see in your rearview mirror that the car behind you is going really fast and doesn't look like they're going to stop in time. And sure enough, the car bangs into you. You hear and feel that crash. And that makes you angry. You're furious. You're furious because someone has smashed into your car. And your, at least internal dialogue starts, that blankety blank person ought to be taken off the road. Those lousy drivers make me sick. And you feel as though you're totally right in being upset. It makes sense, right? You feel you have to be upset. That's the normal thing. You have no choice about it in that moment, right? Someone ran into you. So imagine now you get out of your car and you're about to yell at this person and you realize there's a man slumped over the steering wheel. Soon you realize he's having some sort of seizure or heart attack. Now, what happens to your feelings then? Right? The anger is down and gone, and there's something else coming on. Compassion, worry, you want to get them help. And now, take it a little further. You then realize that the man slumped over the steering wheel is your father. Now, how do you feel? Doesn't that exacerbate your worry, right? That gets you even more into action, right? There's a difference there, and it's not anger. Now, the incident has not changed, but your feelings have because you see the situation differently. You're focusing on it. You're coming from a different place inside of you in your reaction to it. This means that your reactions were not caused by the accident, but by how you interpreted the accident. We might even make things up in order to be angry. That's why it's so easy to jump to conclusions. That person did that on purpose. What a terrible driver. You shouldn't be on the streets, and so forth. With all these reasons, we feel justified in being angry. We have a right to be angry. It is hard to realize that we are angry because part of us wants to be angry. Rage has found an opportunity to enter into us. It has nothing whatever to do with what we think is the cause, such as that other person's driving. What that circumstance does is provide an opportunity for anger to arise in us. But it's not the cause. Causes are not external, they are internal. Anger is always an inside job. Something outside might trigger it, but the answer comes from inside. Imagine if other people were the cause of your current mental state. This would mean that other people could make you happy, or other people could make you sad. They could put you in heaven, or they could put you in hell. All they have to do is act badly, or yell at you, or talk too long, or not talk at all, or step on your foot, and they put you in hell. No, the universe is not created that way. You put yourself in hell. If you are involved in spiritual work, you do not allow your emotions to be controlled by people, situations, and things outside of yourself. You don't allow yourself to be upset by what you read in the newspaper. How can a piece of paper upset you? Only because you chose to be upset by it. You might say, but look at this. I can't see why I'm upset. But another person could read the same story in the same newspaper and not be upset in the same way. The upset is not the result of the paper. It's the result of something inside of you. And it might be that there's a little beast inside of you down in your basement that's starting to make a noise. Now it's time to be angry, and you respond. How do you know that negative emotions are an inside job? It is because a person can say the identical thing to you one day and you get mad, and they say the exact same thing another day, and you're not mad. You might even laugh. You might have joy. He could say the same thing another day, and you would not care. You choose your own reactions. It's not the other person's fault. So, let's say you wake up and it's raining. You might even tell someone you're upset because it's raining. It's going to rain on your parade. I know people who another person would be in heaven when it rains. Their garden needs it so badly. So the rain is the cause of one person being upset and the other person being happy. The rain does not make you happy or sad. It is just rain. You can choose to be happy or sad when you see it rain. That's your choice. It's not the rain. And you could collect a dozen people and they would all have a different reaction to the rain. There's a wonderful story in the New Testament about this where a man hires some workers early in the morning. He says, I'll pay you a day's wage if you work all day for me. Sometime later, the owner goes out and he hires some more people about midday, and then he goes out right near the end of the day and hires some more people. They work for maybe an hour. And the end of the day, he starts paying these last workers first, and he gives them a denarius, a day's wage. And the people who had been working all day were thinking, whoa, they got a denarius. It must be that we're going to be getting much more. But when the master pays them, they too receive one denarius each, a day's wage. Now they were furious. Were they upset because they were paid the amount they were agreed? Right? No, they were upset because they had a thought that they would be paid more. The master says, can't I do what I want? Is your eye evil because I'm good? Right? This means, are you jealous because I'm good to someone? I did you no wrong. I paid you what you agreed to receive. Their upset was an inside job. They were upset because they began to fantasize about getting more. They upset themselves. It's amazing to think of life in terms of real cause versus false cause. I believe you can be with the most obtuse, ignorant, self-centered, bombastic person and still be totally at peace, because their behavior is not the cause of your reaction. You react the way you want to react. Now, certainly, life is not perfect. We're not perfect, and there will be situations that trigger these awful negative reactions. That the beast in the basement will come up. I know there are situations that we will get upset. However, I will upset myself in some of those situations, but I will still know that the situation is not the cause. So your task this week is to observe upsets from this point of view, and then notice how you feel. Whenever you feel upset from a thing, situation, or person, stop and remember that upsets do not come from outside of you, but from inside of you. Observe your reactions to the situation from that point of view.